Once it goes red, okay, and then hit the raps video.
Oh.
He's taken another one and Howard Foster has stopped it. Wow.
As well.
Yes, people. We're live in the flesh, live on the platform, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. I'm now the main host of Raps on TV because I get the most predictions right. You know what I mean?
Hang on a minute. Were those splinters sticking out your ass, bro, from last week? That sitting on the pitch didn't do you any justice, bro. It's like it totally wiped out. That Teofimo Lopez prediction.
I don't know really. One prediction, 1 year only, one solid one, and it's always an underdog.
There you go, bro. There you go, bro. So yeah, man. Big up yourself. How you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm all good. It's Christmas time. Obviously, you in Africa is getting me all getting me excited or whatnot. So, you know, well, go on to all the people. Marcus, what's that done?
What's going on, man? Well, go on.
Bro, I can't wait to get into the show. I can't even lie. Like,
yeah.
We haven't done our end of the year special yet, but it just feels like there's enough to kind of go after. I think, even though I was saying that this year boxing has been thrived.
Yeah,
there's been and part credit to Eddie Hearn, man. Credit to Eddie Hearn. We've got to give him props where props is due. I just think this year's been crazy. This weekend of fights, all these 50-50 fights, everyone's taking risks now because they know time's of the essence. They need to get themselves in there because there's less shows out there. I just think it's phenomenal, man. Just absolutely amazing men's boxing. But look, bro, what do you make of it before I start rambling on?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, but I agree with you. I mean, look, I wouldn't even just say Eddie Hearn. I think, look, Matchroom have had a great year. I think all the kind of key players have stepped up during this sort of COVID period. So Frank Warren, look, yeah, that was a big show last weekend. Then I know I'm always going to say the PBC, but I think, look, last weekend they got 16,000. First real venue, first event with a large crowd, 16,000 in attendance for Spence versus Garcia. And it wasn't a classic fight. The build-up was big, but it wasn't a classic fight, and we're going to get into that, but I still think it was a good fight. So overall, you know, knowing what's coming this weekend on both sides of the Atlantic, and also what's coming with the DAZN platform with Canelo Smith, I still think it's been a relatively good year, and I think, you know, going into 2021, we really should see a lot of action. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think you touched on it earlier. You know, they've all stepped up, but it does feel like boxing is not back, but yeah, it does feel like, you know, the big dogs are out to play now. You know, we've got Joshua coming out this weekend.
100%.
Yeah. So listen, I'm your co-pilot today. For those of you that think we're seeing more of a headshot, why is dude in the best? It's -3 in the UK now, sons. I'm out in Ghana. I'm gonna do a lot of reporting for the next month from Ghana, so make sure you tune in. Anybody that wants to kind of get their comments in, we definitely want to hear that. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. Yeah, man.
No, for real, like amazing. Looking forward to proper getting into the show, man. So much to go through in such a short space. Sure, you know what? We're getting to a stage where we're putting the agenda and topics together. We're like, oh, we forgot this, and we forgot that, and we forgot this. Yeah. Crazy.
But like all the talk is like, even I forgot about the Billy Joe Saunders. I was all the talk with Billy Joe Saunders. I was thinking like, rah, like I forgot about Murray. Yes, Marcus. Yes, big up Marcus. Marcus, big up yourself. But yeah, that's why if you're wondering why I'm in the vest, like I said, out here in this continent. But yeah, bro, Billy Joe Saunders, Martin Murray. I mean, let's kick off there, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, look, let's touch on that very briefly, I think, because Billy Joe doesn't even like the performance or even hearing about it. I think he's done with it. Boxed really well. Slick Billy Joe, as we know it. I do think he's one of Britain's best, one of Britain's finest, man. And I think he would do it on Canelo. I think he can really cause Canelo some problems because of his awkwardness. And I think that would be a good fight, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I'd like to see the Andrade fight. Martin Murray, one of the only few fighters I know that's had 5 shots out of getting a world title and still gone missing, you know. But look, he's a solid fighter. The only fight that I think's ever knocked him out, looking at his record, was Golovkin or stopped him. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Billy Joe's not a puncher, so you know Martin Murray's got a strong chin. Yeah, man, it was a good performance from Billy Joe. I don't know why Billy Joe was so upset and gutted when I looked at the IFL stuff because he boxed really well. I thought he was going to be quite slow and just, not take it seriously. I just said it was going to be a stinker. But you know what? As a boxing fan, as boxing specialist, we love to watch it. We love to see him slipping. And, I really liked how he was just putting the uppercuts together and just coming in and out. So,
I think maybe it was linked to, like, when you look at Billy Joe, I think maybe he wanted the knockout. I feel like he wanted the knockout because that would have been, like you said, a huge statement if Golovkin was the only other guy. But I have to agree with you. Look, I think Billy Joe Saunders done himself not proud, but I think he done well. I was watching the fight and you could see his skills. He was able to display a wide amount of punch variety. He was movement. He was very elusive. And I think it was just over a tough night for Martin Murray. And I think Martin Murray knew it. It was just a tough night for him. So, you know what? Credit to Billy Joe Saunders. But what I don't want to happen is, what is it, 2, maybe 3 years ago? Got to the end of the year. He went over to Canada. He beat Lemieux, put on an absolute boxing clinic. And then we didn't see nothing else from him. So, so for me, I think that's big up Marcus. You're right on that. Daniel Appen's been banging on about Billy Joe. And, he's been a big fan of him. But I think it's fair to say everybody's also been slightly disappointed as well. But he's been backing him from early. So, yes, I think with Billy Joe, I think, you've got to say to yourself, 2021 has to be a huge year. He has to go for an Yarde or a Jacobs. I know you were saying Canelo, but I think realistically, it's probably not going to happen.
If I was, Jacobs would be a good fight. DAZN, both guys, both signed to DAZN. Eddie could probably make that fight easy, give them enough money each. I don't think Jacobs, after his last performance, as much as I like the Brooklyn man, the Miracle man, he didn't perform to how he should have. So now he's tired. And Billy Joe actually boxed really well. So I think the split should be more in favour of Billy Joe because of him being the champion and what he has to offer. But big year for Billy Joe. Otherwise, if it's not a big year for him, I think a lot of people are just gonna. I don't want to hear no injuries. I don't want to hear no controversial stuff about him making stupid comments. Banned. I don't want to see any of that because he's a grown man, bro. Like he's a grown man with kids and family and whatnot. Like, he should be knowing better to be getting himself caught up in these situations. Where's Melt PR when you need her, man, to clean up the mess?
Big up. Yes, and there I see. You see the guy, big man like Zayn. Big up yourself, bro. Great job last week. I think we're doing the same thing. Yeah, big up yourself, bro. Zayn. Great job last week. Looking forward to getting you on the platform a lot more in the future as well.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's one of those where I just think Billy Joe needs a big year. That's it. Yeah. Nothing to say really, because it just gets more frustrating. Like Dan said, it's really frustrated about Billy Joe. It's frustrating. Yeah. Looking forward to after quite looking to call in, bro. But
exactly, man. But bro, I think if I can ask you, bro. I mean, look, I gotta say this one. I gotta do that little pimp move. Right, bro. Lyndon Arthur. I did say to you that Lyndon Arthur, I just felt he would have too much for Yarde. I just felt the jab was, he's a seasoned fighter in terms of his amateur pedigree. And I'll be honest, I think after getting bitten by the Dubois versus Joyce, I said to myself, I'm thinking like logically and technically now. And Lyndon Arthur, if you go back to the Emmanuel Nem fight, like he showed a lot of character in that fight, and I just felt he would have the better of him on that one. So it was a good fight.
Bro, shout out to the money man. Like I said, I saw him the other day. Like, bro, looks really happy. Saw him with his family and that. So he follows raps. He supports the movement. Big up to him. What more can I say? Really, I thought the fight could have been a draw. The fight could have actually been a draw if the judges were being, the way they normally are. Even the commentary, BT thought Yarde just edged it because of that kind of flash. Because he rocked Arthur in the 12th round, in the mid-12th round.
Yeah, he had a strong 12th round.
No, that 12th round.
I felt like Arthur got himself not quite clear-head, but I felt like the first 5 rounds, like Yarde didn't really...
rounds.
Yeah.
5-6 rounds, he was okay. The thing is, what Yarde was doing, and I felt when he said he got the cleaner punches, I'm not sure. It was just more, he was landing, he was flashing him, he was just catching the skin and just kind of scraping him. He wasn't giving those effective, clear, concise shots that you'd know about Lyndon Arthur's jab.
Exactly.
longer arms, got the longer reach. He's taller, even though he don't like fighting shorter guys, a lot of tall guys. He kept him at range. He kept him there. He controlled the pace of the fight, and he allowed Yarde to do whatever he wants, all the feints, all the slipping aheads, the movement. Just allowed him to do that because he knows that, look, I've got a bad right hand. My jab, the best in the light heavyweight division in the UK, and I can keep him at bay with that. And ultimately, that's what won him the fight.
100%.
Big congrats to him. Such an underdog. And bro, look what it meant to him at the end. Look at him and Pat Barrett at the end, man.
Yeah, man.
He couldn't believe it because he thought he was going to get hard done by, bro.
Yeah. It was one of those fights that I won't lie. I thought that they probably would have just given it to Yarde because it became so close towards the end. But yeah, big up Marcus. I see you on that. A question. Zane raised a question. I think we might as well get into that. We'll get into it with the callers as well. But just going back to it, he says, "What do you think? What do you think? Does Yarde need to get rid of Tunde?
Does Yarde need to get rid of Tunde? That's a big question. I think he's been getting a lot of flack on Twitter. And I think, not similar to Dubois, but I just think it's a bit harsh. Sometimes it's a bit unnecessary. I don't think a lot of the criticism is constructive, especially from fellow people in the industry. But at the same time, I can also understand from their perspective because of Tunde's self-belief, how he is, and how he's able to get Yarde from age 13, from being such a royal novice to being able to fight Kovalev. So you do have your beliefs, you do have your methods, and you do have your styles. And I remember he had an interview a few years ago, and he just said, look, why does everything have to be the way traditional boxing people do it? Like, back in traditional boxing, people never used to believe in strength and conditioning and training and massaging and whatnot. And look where we are now. So things that there's time for change and time to evolve. But where people are getting frustrated is that they feel Yarde lacks the fundamentals. And I don't think he lacks the fundamentals. I just think he's unable at times to put it together in the ring. And that also comes down to sparring. That comes down to a real executed game plan. I just didn't feel that they felt Lyndon Arthur was going to be much trouble, especially after the Spellman win, after he just blasted through him. So I think that's a lesson to a lot of people. They'll come back, though. Yarde is definitely going to come back. But I just don't want him to get caught up with all these. I think he's a big star in himself. He can go really far. Is the trainer the right question? I think only he will know that. He's an East London boy through and through. Tunde's an East London boy. He's used to his surroundings. Maybe change could be good for him. Maybe it won't. But ultimately, he's had a tough year this year. Let's not forget all that's gone on with him this year. So I think he needs a well-deserved break with his family to cool off. And then whatever decisions he makes, I think everyone's going to support it anyway. And regardless, look, Tunde's got a number of fighters in his stable. He's proved he's able to get people from the low level and bring them to the top level. So who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I think I do think that's well said. I mean, look, I've noticed it's really hard to always be honest because when you go online, you see that people use a loss as an opportunity to kind of vent their frustration. And for me, I do think that people were waiting for this type of a defeat to kind of jump onto Tunde. Now, are there some methods that can be improved? Absolutely. But I think that goes for every fighter. I don't think any coach is outside of improvement. But yeah, the question is, what adjustment did he ask Yarde to make? I think that's the fair question. I think having maybe more voices in the camp, if Yarde wants to compete at the elite level, I don't see why you can't have other people, whether it's in your training camp, whether it's just in your corner. And for the life of me, I will go on it and say, if Tyson Fury can do it, Anthony Joshua can do it, then I'm sorry, every other fighter is also capable of doing it. Having a second voice. I think with Tunde and Yarde, they've got a very close relationship. And I think Yarde has got to a level because of Tunde's sort of tutelage, let's say that. But can somebody else take him to the next level? Maybe it's not fair to say he should run to another camp, but maybe the best thing is they can bring in somebody else for something different. So whether you're talking about, the rumors are they don't spar, but maybe you need to bring in a coach that can help you with the sparring so that, because for me, in a fighting sense, okay, I never had a professional license, but I'm going to say two things to that. I've trained and I've sparred with people, and when I've been training, the best thing for me was actually sparring. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people, I want to find this licensing thing Johnny Nelson made the biggest error of the weekend. He was a professional fighter, world champion, and this guy's claiming James Tennyson can beat Gervonta Davis now. So I'm like, if this guy's got I'm going of course here, but if this guy's got a professional license and he's making wild statements like that, somebody that's a fan of the sport, watched a lot of fights, don't tell me I've never been a professional fighter and I can't have an opinion. For Yarde,
bro, I don't believe that.
He needs to bring somebody in the camp. I don't know who, but he does need to bring some, whether it's for strength and positioning, like explosiveness. Yeah.
I don't think he lacks that, coach. His explosiveness is amazing, bro. His athletic ability, no one doubts that. It's just more the technical side. Like, so one thing I noticed is that I felt he needed to double up on the jab, because when he was finding, when he was doubling up on the jab and then hitting with the body, he would go for the double jab and then right hand to the body, and low to the body, and then come upstairs. But I felt like the way to beat Lyndon Arthur was just to rough him up from the outset. He's got a bad right hand. It was aware the 7th or 8th round, and he was still able to fight through. I just felt Yarde should have really used his strength to try and tie him up, get him on the ropes, cut him off, really dog with him. Even sometimes, I wouldn't say headbutt him, but just rough him up, get really there, because make him feel uncomfortable. Because Yarde's got a very good inside game. Got really
that's what I'm saying.
And that was
towards the end of the fight as well, a little bit. I don't know if he had one arm, but essentially he had one arm. But he started.
He's a smaller guy as well, so he could do the whole, not Tyson bobbing and weaving, but like just getting inside him, just really inside him. After you could tell he was getting a bit tired, but like, you know, one thing that people picked up as well, Yarde was blowing. I didn't see it like that though. I didn't see it like that, but you know,
I thought Yarde was blowing, bro. Even early, I'm not gonna lie, like early in the rounds, I think that he was blowing. Yeah, and look, Marcus Aurelius is putting it out there. I know we're going off topic, but it's like the argument that if you're not a boxer, you cannot have an opinion is nonsense. Does that apply to football or politics or news? If so, there should be no boxing fans. You can't take money from the fans and then say they can't say anything. I agree.
100%, bro. Marcus, I agree. You are a real guy. No, that happens all the time. I think boxing is just too personal. The industry just takes it a bit too personal, man.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny thing is, it's like they will then. So I know we're going off topic, but you know, listen, we're end of the year. We might as well freestyle.
Yeah.
For me, start saying, "Oh, you know, you never box. I don't listen to you." The people that usually say it, they never even fought at the elite, highest level with all the highest accolades. So a lot of these guys, you're like, well, hang on a minute. Were you a world champion? No. So if a world champion now says to you, "Oh, you were never a world champion. I don't care about your opinion," they're not going to take it. So all this thing, I agree, it's nonsense about, "Oh, you've never boxed." I think Johnny Nelson's killed it. That's the good thing about it.
Eubank Senior, the Warriors Code.
Exactly. And look, I'm going to be real. Look at Uncle. Uncle's been calling in the show for months now, and like the guy knows his boxing. Like he'll talk to you about fights you've never heard of. But outside of that, when he assesses a fight, he assesses it on the principles of boxing. So
that's why he's one of our most accurate predictors, bro.
That's why one of the most accurate. When everyone was saying Dubois, look, I'm not even going to pretend I said Dubois as well. He was the only one that right. So my point being, it doesn't mean you just have to be a fighter that understands boxing. Look, if you love the sport and you watch it as a fan, yes, Alan. Alan, have you been taking that Viagra yet? Man, we got you, bro. Alan's going to be taking that Viagra in about 15, 20 minutes, man.
But bro, the Yarde, with Yarde, look, Yarde, just have a great year with your family. Just finish off the year strong with your family and just rest, recuperate, man. You don't need to go in the gym the next day. I think I wouldn't want to see a rematch straight away. I want to see a fight with Yarde fight someone else that he can, you know, that we can really show off his technical skills and how much he's learned before he builds up a big hype fight for a rematch with Lyndon Arthur. As for Lyndon, mate, the world is your oyster. Please stay strong, stay healthy, stay fit, push on, and you know, looking forward to hopefully getting him on the show one day and being able to chop it up with him, man. Because
last question before we move on to the couple of topics and callers. Do you think Yarde Boatsy is the fight that can happen in 2021? Arthur Boatsy or Boatsy Arthur, however way.
You know what? I think the T58 management team would fancy that. I think after I think because I think Eddie said back of 2021 he would have a big fight, a world title fight, probably for Boatsy. So I'm thinking Lyndon Arthur could be that kind of fight towards that, because I think that would be a cracker, man. I think that would be Boatsy will stop him. As much as I like Lyndon Arthur, I think Boatsy will stop him, because if if Boatsy's able to get off a shot like Yarde did in the 12th and rocked him, Boatsy smells blood. He's really good at that. He's really, really good at that. So I think he would really, really put the pace on it and do that.
And the other thing I would say though, I reckon those two have had some good sparring sessions, because again that whole Team
Sheffield guys, man, definitely. Yeah. They know each other well, man. They all know each other. Like even Arthur rolls with them, but he's friendly with the 258 camp and
exactly.
And Eddie Hearn and all those. It wouldn't surprise me if he signs over to Matchroom. In the next few months, because Frank Warren seems to be losing all his fighters. But exactly, Marcus. Boatsy does beat both, and look, 2021 is a year of some crazy fights. Hopefully, some live fights as well. Crazy fights. But
so moving on, bro. Because we saw the fight. We might as well stick to the highlight. Everybody was anticipating the return of Errol Spence Jr. taking on Danny Garcia, the Philly monster, big hook, big resume. But the fight happened. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts were on the fight. I'll just quickly give you my. I feel like it was kind of standard for Spence. I think he established the jab pretty early. He even took some shots. When he rode the shots quite well. When he took some shots, you didn't see. So if I was going to mark, that return to boxing, I probably would give it. Given everything, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'll give it an 8 out of 10, bro. I thought he boxed well. He showed a lot of movement. He was always kind of just like jab, big shot, working the body. Do you know what I mean? Like circling, great movement. What do you think, bro?
I think the fight was very good. Accident, man. He looked sharp. He looked tough as nails. He looked good. He made it effortless. And I mean, Garcia again, it's like Garcia went from world level to now just drifting now. It's just still in. He's similar, not a saying, but very similar to Sean Porter in a sense where they're just kind of. I think these two need to get it on, man.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, what did I tell you, bro? I told you Crawford's going PBC. Bro, and he was in the arena. You got to ask yourself, how did he get into the arena? When it's all said and done, how? Who moved the ticket? Do you know what I mean?
Bro, it's your man, Sam Watson, man.
I don't even know if he's. I think it's the man himself. The man that moves the shadows. I think it's out, bro.
Who's seen Al Heyman? Who's seen it? Have you seen it?
But I'm going to tell you something, bro. I've seen him. But the thing is, if you go back to a lot of the Mayweather fights, this is a random fact. But if you go back to a lot of the Mayweather fights, you see him in the audience. But apart from that, Al Heyman actually arranged I know it's going to sound random, but he arranged Michael Jackson's world tour. So that bad tour that came to London in like '88, that was in Tokyo, Paris, that was actually arranged by Al Heyman, bro. That's how knee deep in this entertainment game that he is. He's not an internet myth in his mum's bedroom. He's an actual guy making big money, making big moves. But we're going to move on to the callers soon, guys. So guys that are getting ready to call, we're going to open the lines, I'll say in a couple of minutes. Bro, before we move on, Coley, obviously he's not taking on Glowacki, but he's still got that title shot. But I'm going for a Coley knockout within 10 rounds. What do you think? Yeah, man, he's looking. The source is looking, bro. Under Shane McCookin, he's looking nice, Like, shout out to Freezy McBones and those who's helping him with his camp and. Bro, that's a good look, Bro, what for Freezy? Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Like, bro, we need to get him on the show, bro. He's a real bad man. Won't be surprised if he signs to 258. Grows from that stable. But yeah, go back to Okoli. Looking real good, looking real lean. He's built up such a good following now. He's got way more hype than he did before. I think the method to this and what he did with the rap videos, going on the ZZ Mill shows. And, I just think Cody's going to do exactly what he needs to do, push on with world level, go back to his rapping again, and then go back into the boxing and just kind of play on it, bro. Like, he's really using his marketing to his advantage. I think the guys are doing really well. Shout out to Will and those 258. Just
just really good, man. Just really nice to see a guy from Hackney really get put on, and encouraging his stablemates like Stefan, who's about to take his pro debut soon. Those Pennyboy guys. So look, it should be business as usual for him, man.
Definitely. So, bro, let's go to the callers. Get a few callers on. First, but foremost, we can see our resident, Mr. Appia. I'm hoping we don't have no technical issues. Daniel, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. How are we, gentlemen?
All good, bro.
Good?
All good?
Exactly. How you doing, sir? We're good.
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Just want to talk about a couple of things. Billy Joe Saunders' performance on Friday night.
What was your thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, what'd you make? Billy Joe's your man.
Good performance, I thought. Showed his power as well. I thought that was a knockdown when he knocked Martin Murray down. Showed his power there. Hopefully we'll see him in a big fight in 2021. Yeah. So let's hope for that. But I thought it was a good performance. Really enjoyed it. I enjoy fighters who got good ring IQ, good movement, sharp. Billy Joe looked sharp Friday, I thought. Yeah. Thought he looked really sharp. So
I completely agree with you, but like we said, like Marcus mentioned earlier, we want to see him, and you especially, his biggest fan, rooting for him for years now on the show. You want to see him fighting the big guy, and he's got no excuses now. 2021 is sink or swim. That's my opinion anyway. Daniel, wanted to get your thoughts on the Yarde upset or Lyndon Arthur. What do you make of that? Was this a robbery?
Well, to be fair, I haven't seen the fight. I've only seen the interviews. I have not seen the fight, so I've still got to see it. So I can't really give an opinion on that one. So
understandable that. But did you catch Spence?
Really?
Did you catch Spence?
Spence and listen,
Garcia.
Spence. Errol Spence is the man, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the man. And how do you think he performed on Saturday night?
Coach, I'm gonna let you answer that.
Yeah, bro. I'll be honest, bro. I think, like I said, I gave him an 8 out of 10. I think it was a really great performance from Spence. I thought, like I said, he showed the jab quite early. I think he kind of just showed that he was better than Garcia. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought he would win, but I thought when Garcia would punch him and connect to the jaw, I thought maybe we might see a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like an impact from the crash. But it didn't even look like he'd been in a car crash, if we're being honest, bro.
It looked like he'd never been. Listen, it looked like it's just business as usual. To be fair,
yeah.
And you know what? As I saw what was going on, I think if he fights Crawford, I think he beats Crawford now.
Bro, I've been saying that for years. He beats Crawford.
I do, Codjo. Seriously, yeah. I'm thinking he beats Crawford because Crawford starts slow, and I can just see Spence just building up a lead, winning a few rounds.
Yeah.
And then Crawford playing sort of catch up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Totally agree. Daniel,
man, isn't he?
Exactly, bro. Before we move on to the next caller, just want to get your prediction for the Joshua fight this weekend. Joshua versus Pulev.
Oh, boy. You know what? Fucking hell. Do you know? Boy. Do you know what? I'm gonna go for Anthony Joshua, but Pulev is no mug, is he?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Truth be told, he's not. But
he's not a mug, but I'm gonna go for Anthony. I'm gonna go for Anthony Joshua.
No,
I'm gonna go for Anthony Joshua. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Listen, Dan, thank you very much, man. Big yourself up as always. Love
Thank
the
you, bro.
support. For those of you guys that are tuned in, you want to get him, you want to hear a motivational speaker, somebody that's from the ground coming up. Daniel Appiah, the motivational speaker, Facebook, Instagram. Go and check out his clips. Gonna definitely guarantee to get you fired up in the mornings when you want to just, you know, get that spark going. So Daniel Appiah, the motivational speaker. Please go and check him out.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man. No worries, mate. And before we move on to the next call, I just want to go back to a comment. Alan, I know you're on the Viagra. I hope you've not taken it too early. But this comment, if you do have the pictures, please send us. We'd love to see them.
Yeah, I saw that.
He fought Spence when he was 18s in the Wales versus USA ABAs. Obviously, he said that he was older, but he said he stopped him in the 3rd round. But if you've got any pictures of that, we'd love to see that. So please send that through to our inbox on all the platforms. Really appreciate that, bro. So we're moving on to the next caller now. Is Uncle. Look forward to hearing Uncle speak. Hello, Uncle.
Hey, hi guys. How are you doing?
We're good. We're good. We're looking forward to hearing your thoughts on everything. And your man Spence is back. Yeah.
Oh, well, obviously, I have to start with my guy, the EJ, the Truth, Errol Spence Jr.
Yeah.
And my main man, Danny with Garcia. I thought it was a high quality fight. I really did. I enjoyed it immensely, but it pretty much went the way I thought it would, just because of Errol's differentials, such as his greater range due to his athleticism, his punch variety, physicality, pace, and boy, that jab. You know, that jab is a nuisance because he throws it up, he throws it to the body, you know, and it's consistent and persistent. You remember how Joe Joyce's jab was a nuisance for Daniel Dubois, you know, but Spencer's is even better. You know, his fundamentals are just so solid. For me, it's the perfect combination of the mindset mentality of Marvin Hagler, the fundamental skill sets of Don Curry, and the body punching ability of Mike McCallum. And I agree with Mr. Appiah, the last caller. He knows his stuff.
No, I get you. I respect that, Uncle. What do you think now of domestic dust-up of the 2 light heavyweight kings, Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur? Was he robbed? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Uncle?
Yeah, Sam, let him finish. Let him finish.
I said my monologue was saying I think Spence beats Crawford.
Oh, okay. Spence.
Yeah. I agree. I've been saying that. But yeah, Sam, we'll go back to him, bro.
Sorry, it cut out then. I didn't, because it just went blank and light. I think after the domestic dust-up this last weekend with Yarde and Lyndon Arthur, what are your thoughts? Was this a robbery on Yarde's part?
Lyndon Arthur won the fight. I didn't know a great deal about him, which is why I was looking forward to watching the fight. But when I saw him, I understood why he was a good amateur. He was a guy with solid fundamentals, solid jab. He basically won the fight with one hand. I couldn't negotiate the jab. And look, I like Tunde Ajayi. Also, you know, being of Nigerian origin as well, I want him to do well. But, you know, it's one thing to try and be the Jose Mourinho of boxing. But you've got to teach your guys fundamentals. He couldn't get past that. And I think that's the problem. It's not good being powerful, being a big puncher, if you cannot, your fundamentals are off base.
Yeah. No, of course. You can't go past the jab.
I don't want to repeat what I think it was what Sam was saying. But you know, We totally agree with what you guys have said about it. And, you know, there's something we're seeing a lot of. Have you noticed how some guys who are hyped but without the fundamentals are getting beaten by the guys who are not as hyped but have solid fundamentals? We've seen it with Joey, we've seen it with Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah. Wilder Fury.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, you know, how anybody thought Wilder was going to beat Fury was actually beyond me, because you remember I was adamant about it. But I think one of the problems is we don't have as many good teachers in terms of trainers as there used to be.
100%. 100%.
Because if I had a guy like Tyson Fury, not Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder with his God-given power, if I could not improve his fundamentals, I'd be ashamed of myself as a trainer. But then I also suspect that Wilder is one of those guys who actually doesn't listen in the gym.
I was going to say, with the excuses we've seen, Uncle, that's a fair point. So, Uncle, before we move on, just get your predictions for this weekend's fight, Joshua versus Pulev.
Oh, I expect Joshua to stop Pulev.
Yeah.
You know, and I make no bones about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I hope they don't have a female reporter doing the post-fight interview, because we can't trust Pulev around women, as we all know.
Of course.
I think Michelle Phelps is in the camp, so yeah, I think she's covering the media this week, so she definitely needs to be careful.
Well, she better not get too close to Pulev.
No, definitely. Listen, Uncle, we're gonna have to move on to another caller, but I appreciate the support as always, and look forward to hearing from you next week.
Excellent.
Take care. So we're going out to 252. 252.
What's happening, gents? The swing raps.
Oh yes. What's going on, big man?
Man, big up Uncle. You made me laugh with that sign out comment.
Yeah. No, bro. I know you.
Let's just say sushi ain't for everyone. But anyway.
No, for sure, bro. Sushi really ain't for everyone. But, bro, you were missed last week. I had to get you on this week. Bro, where do we start? Talk to me. Talk to me about Yarde versus Arthur.
Well, I'll tell you what, before I talk about Yarde, I'm jealous I'm not in the yard out in Ghana.
Don't worry, but you're more than welcome, brother. Trust me. I'm gonna arrange a party for next year.
I need to get, well, you know, I've had many opportunities to go Ghana. It's slipped me. I've been to Africa a few times, but I haven't been to West Africa. I need to get to West Africa, man.
Yeah,
man.
You're welcome, brother.
Lyndon Arthur's my guy. Just a bit of context so I don't sound completely biased. I like both guys. I'm very cordial with Tunde. I met Anthony once, and my first ever interview I did was with Lyndon Arthur. So I kind of felt his vibe from early, and I like Arthur, man. I think he won the fight with one hand, which is crazy. Do you know what was? Someone, you guys mentioned it earlier. It kind of went under the radar because let's be honest, man. Let's just be honest. Queensbury, the last 2 weeks running, has basically had one horse in the race. It's been a one-dimensional conversation about both big fights.
Yeah.
So as far as the average Joe is concerned, there was only one name worth focusing on for this fight. So what I found interesting was I was aware of Lyndon's kind of astute jab and fundamentals. Plus, he's a rangy guy, which one you mentioned. And do you know what was weird, right? We always look at Anthony as this kind of like hench, kind of second coming of Jeff Lacey, Mike Tyson-esque, like muscle-bound guy. But when I was watching Lyndon on TV, I was like, Lyndon, he's tall. He's got lanky legs, but he's big as well.
Trust me. Yeah.
So I was like, when he had the right hand cocked, yeah, even though we know that it was more of a dummy, and let's keep it real, he might have thrown it a handful of times, but when he threw it, it landed. So obviously the hand was messed up. He couldn't throw it. Do you know what I'll say about this? Yeah? It was a very, very minimal fight. You had to look for the small details. So kind of like to the untrained eye, it would be easy to get mistaken who would have potentially been the winner of the fight. But if you look at it from a boxing point of view, there was only one winner. I'm not saying Lyndon whitewashed Anthony Yarde. I'm just saying he did enough for me to say that he was clearly the winner.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man. I know emotions are riding high in it. I don't know. I think Anthony could have come a bit better in his post-fight, to be honest. He could have come a bit better than that. Do you know what I mean? So, 1 million% props to Lyndon, because I don't think he's getting anywhere near as much credit as he deserves. Do you know what it is as well? You know when they've got such a clear pin-up favourite, yeah? It's almost like you tried to say Yarde lost the fight. No. Lyndon won the fight.
Yeah.
Let's put the credit where it's meant to go.
Yeah. 100%.
That's what I've got to say about that. I'm like you, Kojo, I don't want to see the rematch straight away. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to see it straight away.
Don't need it. Don't need it, bro. And boy, if I can just say to your point, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, everyone's acting like it's Yarde lost it, but Lyndon won the fight with one hand. And I don't think people understand how tough that is, you know, and just, especially from his fundamentals, his timing of the jab was mad, like, especially the early rounds.
Amazing.
What?
Amazing.
It's on point.
Pinpoint. That was what I was expected to see from Danny Garcia. Because he never had that laser cover.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Should we move on to that one?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move on to that one.
Do your thing, bro.
All right, I'll be honest. Like, full disclaimer, I'm a fan of boxing, but I have a slight soft spot for Crawford. However, objectively watching this fight, Spence didn't miss a beat, not a beat.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm glad one of you guys mentioned that he did hold some shots. Because, again, if you just get caught up in the PBC promo machine, you would think that Errol just annihilated Danny Garcia. Now, while he did fundamentally beat him, I think he made more of him getting beat up than what was reality. Yeah, his eye got cut. But correct me if I'm wrong. Danny backed him up rounds 9, 10, 11.
Yep.
Again, people want to say Spence keep the rounds off. Bro, you only keep the rounds off if you ain't got enough in the tank to go toe-to-toe with the threat in front of you. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah. Keep it a buck, as they say.
Do you know the only that's what I'm saying, but do you know only 2 irks or criticisms from being hypercritical of Errol is, he don't have one-punch knockout power. I'm convinced of that now. And what I'm thinking is, everyone says he's big for the weight. So we're assuming he moves up to 154 and eventually 160. But if he's not knocking man out of 147, is that because he's weight drained, or is it because he don't carry one-punch power? That's my first. That's a minor criticism / observation. I was disappointed he didn't knock out Mikey Garcia. If he so-called battered Danny Garcia, he didn't get him out of there again. I'm not saying he should have, but I'm saying people go on like he's a killer. No, for me, he's an astute, very solid, fundamentally southpaw tricky boxer. But the one caveat I'll add to that, there's not been many dominant 147 southpaws, with the exception of Manny Pacquiao, in recent times. Now, Errol is clearly bigger than most people he gets in with, and his jab is amazing. It's varied, it's up and down with his extra height. He's able to jab, man, so they guard high, and then he gets to rip to the body. Because I'm always saying, how come he gets so many opportunities to rip to the body? But it's because he throws his jab out at weird angles. Now, that I give him. He's like, that's on point. Whatever Derek James has done, that's on point. But my thing is this: Crawford could also fight southpaw. And Crawford knocks man out southpaw. I know all of you guys are backing Spence. I still got Crawford. You know why? Crawford's got one punch knockout power. And I still think, you know what, I'll make a quick analogy to Messi, Ronaldo. Crawford's Messi, Spencer's Ronaldo. You see what I'm going with that?
Oh, what a way to end it.
I'm gonna say this, bro. I think we're definitely going to get that fight. I feel once Crawford signs with PBC, I think we will get that fight. It might be a bit of a build-up. You know, Crawford takes on Porter, maybe Pacquiao goes for, Spence. But I think we definitely need to sit down and chop that up because I think that's a good analogy. How can I say it? You could argue the fans, the purists would always love a Messi. But does that mean that Ronaldo's ineffective? And the one thing you've got to say about
no, 1,000,000% not. You know what, bro? I'm of this kind of like middle of the road theory now, where I'm a fan of boxing.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna put one man down. I'm not gonna put your guy perceivably down to pick my guy up. Now I'm raising everybody up.
Yeah.
They're both outstanding fighters. For me, you said 8 out of 10 for his performance. I get criticized because I say Errol Spence is 8 out of 10 at everything. You know what? I'll correct myself on that. He's 9 out of 10 on his defense. He's 9 out of 10. But I think Crawford has got some 10 and 11 bars on all the power ratings.
Fair enough.
I don't think Errol has any 10 out of 10s. None.
Yeah.
He's the Anthony Joshua of 147. Remember I said that.
All right.
He does everything good.
I won't lie. I'm looking forward to seeing Crawford put in. But, bro, before we got to move on to another caller, let's get you mentioned Joshua. Let's get your prediction on the Joshua fight, please.
I know I spoke a lot, so I'll keep it quick. He knocks him out rounds 5 to 8. Done.
Perfect. Bro, thank you as always. Love that support. Going to hear from you soon. Man. Take care, man. Big up. 908. The floor is yours. Hello. 908.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, bro. Can you hear us?
Yeah, perfect, bro. What's happening, man?
What's going on, Zay, man?
You good?
You good?
Man. What did you think of this weekend's boxing that just went past?
Bro, we definitely loved it. I think the question we got to ask you, though, is what do you think of Errol Spence versus Garcia?
Well, I think, Errol Spence answered a lot of questions from, obviously, everyone thought that he was going to come back a different fighter from the car crash. What I noticed about Errol is, the thing is, you've got to have more than just power to be able to be a complete boxer. And the guy that called in the last call that you had, he made some very good points, but at the same time, you need more than just power. Do you get me? Because when you step up in levels, there's going to be boxers that can box. So I think he's like the complete overall package in terms of being one of the best welterweights. Obviously, there's no doubt about it that Crawford is just as good as him, and we definitely need to see that fight happening. But in terms of his performance, it was brilliant. Like, I know, he didn't get the knockout against Danny Garcia, but let's be fair. Like, no one really stopped Danny Garcia, and he is a game opponent. You get what I'm saying? He's got a chin. So, in regards to Errol Spence not having power, I still think he's got power, but it's just sometimes it's better to just box and use your fundamentals as well, and rather than just risk it and make a mistake. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Danny Garcia is a good over. You know what I mean? So, in terms of that, I still think Spence has got a lot of power, man. And it's questionable whether Crawford could beat him, because, Crawford is stepping up, and Errol Spence is the bigger guy, and Errol Spence can box as well. So it's a very intriguing fight, man. But at the same time, Crawford has been looking really good. He looks very impressive. I mean, the last Kell Brook fight as well. I mean, like, the punch where he threw, where he changed the punch into a hook or something. And that was just amazing. That's pound for pound stuff right there, if you know what I'm saying. Do that.
Makes sense. Bro, what you're saying.
I think Spence was a good performance from Spence, man. And I was really impressed that, you know, he answered everyone's questions because I still think he's the same Spence, man. And if not, an even better one with more confidence in his life now. You know what I'm saying? Because that must have been like mentally a life-changing moment for him because he could have lost his life, to be honest, you know. And I just feel that God gave him second chance at life, you know. And this is his kind of wake-up call. So it makes the whole fight dynamic so much interesting with regards to Spence versus Crawford. And Crawford was there at the fight, you know. That was interesting to me because, you know, I don't know how he got in there. He must have got in there with, like, you know, mentioning how Heyman, you know, something to do with him signing with PBC maybe, you know. But I was really happy with that performance of Spence. He looked great to me.
I hear you, bro. No, great points, man.
Bro, I wanna come to you though quickly on Okoli. Give me your thoughts on Okoli. Where you think that, because obviously he's fighting for a world title this weekend. It was supposed to be against Gloraki, but I don't know the opponent's name. But yeah, what do you think of Okoli? You think he's gonna get that world title and get the job done?
Yeah. To be honest, like, I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get the Gloraki fight because that was a more interesting fight to me personally because Gloraki's been in there with some world champions before, and you know, with the fact that, you know, Lawrence Okoli, he's still learning on the job and he's still like trying to, you know, brush up on his boxing ability. That's really disappointing. And another thing was I had a lot of money on it, you know, so they voided that selection on my bet slip, so I'm not going to get a big enough return as I was originally going to get. But like at the same time, like, you know, the opponent that he's facing now, I'm not really impressed with it, you know, because it makes it seem like it's an easier fight for Okoli when a world title should be a fight where it's a bit more competitive, you know, against a really game opponent. I mean, the guy he's facing, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a Polish fighter, and he hasn't really been in there with many very, very known cruiserweights as well, you know. But the fact he's been in there with a guy called Michel Cieslak or something like that, I don't know how to pronounce his name, which was one fight that was a notable sort of fighter in my name in that boxing resume. But at the same time, like, I saw that fight. That was the main fight I saw out of all of the fights he's had, the 19 fights or so, and he's undefeated. But it turned out to be a no contest fight. I mean, if you lot both see that fight, you see what I'm saying. Like, the fight was called a no contest, and he got knocked out in the third round. It was quite embarrassing. But at the same time, like, I don't think he's on Lawrence Okoli's level, man. I don't know. Have you not seen the guy he's facing?
But I'm gonna be real, not at all, man. I haven't.
I knew about Gloraki, but this new guy, because it's COVID and everything. When I heard he caught COVID and he's fighting someone else and scheduling someone else, I just thought, I can't be bothered. But then I started hearing talks about Richard Riakpo, who wanted to step up and try and take the place. But I think he's just building hype for the fight. I mean, those guys know each other really, really well. If you remember all the years back to when Isaac Chamberlain in 2018 fought against Okoli at the O2, Richard was in Isaac's camp, and they had not a back and forth, they had mutual respect. So I think they're just trying to build a big fight up and a big hype up to when the money's financially right for both men. But yeah, I'm not really too fast. I think Okoli's going to get his title because he's that much of a concussive puncher. And then we look forward to another great 2021 for him as well. And that 258 camp, you know?
100%, I agree with you, Sam. In terms of Lawrence Okoli, I think, you know, there was a lot of fans that were criticising his style before he joined Shane McGuigan. They were saying he was holding far too much and making boring fights, you know. But, you know, at the same time, we've got to understand he hasn't really had a big amateur background. He's learning on the job, you know, and he's been in there with some tough fights as well, you know. So exactly. To make it this far, so far, you know.
100.
And I think with regard to him joining Shane McGuigan, Shane McGuigan's that sort of fighter that loves the sport of boxing, the sweet science. We've seen that with Groves when he faced Eubank Jr. I mean, Groves boxed a really good fight, a really good game plan. And I think with him in his last fight, Lawrence Okoli against Ngannou, that was one of the most impressive performances I've seen of Okoli so far. I mean, there was obviously there was a bit of holding from the start, but as the fight wore on, you see more of his boxing skill, what he's learning under Shane McGuigan. Yeah. That was really impressive in my opinion. It's just going to take a few more fights, and you'll see him, mix it up and not holding as much. So I definitely think the future is bright for Lawrence Okoli, man. But he just needs to stay focused like he usually is. Yeah. And I think he'll go far. That fight with Reactor is definitely a domestic dust-up that should be built up. I definitely agree.
Yeah. For real, bro. Listen, bro, appreciate your calling as always, Zain. Definitely gonna catch up.
Thank you, bro.
And speak soon. So appreciate the support as always. And listen, we're gonna move on. Get ready to end the show. Like I said, we're over and abroad, so the internet is killing my bank account, man. But I appreciate the love as always, man.
No problem, guys.
Man. Thank you.
Before we go, bro, big up your show, big up yourself and your platform.
Yeah, love, man.
No,
appreciate it. Big up Raps on TV.
No, I appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Wicked. So, bro, let's before we move on, let's kind of get some predictions between the two of us.
Let's go.
I said, I think, look, there's a lot of fights taking place on the night. There are some interesting clashes, but nothing massive. I think Huey Fury taking on Marius Watch. That's not a big fight, but that's an interesting
look for him.
Yeah, I think Fury needs to win. I think if he doesn't win, I really don't know where he goes from here. So I'm going to go with a Fury win on that one. Where are you going?
Yeah, Fury KO. I'll be really, really impressed if Fury knocks him out because he's back in contention again. And you know what? It wouldn't even surprise me if Joe Joyce fought him,
Boy, that would be a mad fight, to be fair. That would be a mad fight. I'm not going to lie. And then moving on, I don't know who the
Joe Joyce.
But yeah,
pretty much there to have that fight. Who else is there to fight? We've got potentially. We've got the prediction for who else have we got?
Lawrence Okoli, bro. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, KO King. Gonna get a KO, bro.
Yeah, I think the same, and he's gonna get crowned that round.
4th or 5th round.
Yeah, so that's big.
At the cage.
Yeah. So then moving on to the main fight, Joshua versus Pulev. How do you see that fight playing out?
Joshua versus Pulev. I'm going against the grain instead of a knockout. I would probably say Joshua on a unanimous decision, man, or majority decision. I just think there's too much at stake. He doesn't want another banana skin, especially after this crazy COVID year. I think he's just going to box and move around, shake a leg, wear off some ring rust, and then get prepared to beat up the Dosser, Fury.
I think if we're being honest, bro, it's probably going to be Usyk because Fury's going to have to fight Wilder again, bro. I expect an announcement on that. If not the end of this year, early January, I expect Fury and Wilder to take care of that fight. I'm going with a Joshua win. I think Joshua stops. I'm going to be honest. I think Joshua kind of takes him out late. I think, I'm not going to say he needs to because he doesn't need to do anything other than win by any means necessary. But I just think Pulev will present a few opportunities for Joshua to maybe just to push the boat and go to the boundaries of saying, you know what, let me take a chance here. I think I also no boxer wants to get hit, but I think Joshua needs to show that his chin can stand up as well. So I'm not saying go out there and get hit, but I think if he takes a few shots, he's going to have to be able to ride them. And I could probably see him riding the shots now more than he would have done last year. I think last year he was still quite planted, quite stationary with his movement. And so I think when he got hit, he wasn't able to kind of glide with the punch. I think we're going to expect to see that a bit more moving forward. So yeah, I'm going with Joshua stoppage. Last point, we've got to move on. There's a lot of criticism talking about it. Mayweather versus one of the Logans. I don't know who they are. Bro, again, I don't know why everybody's in their feelings. Bro, let the man get his money. He doesn't need to fight. He doesn't need to fight Crawford. Anybody that thinks he does, then clearly hasn't watched boxing long enough. Yes, Pacquiao might go and fight those guys. Pacquiao needs to fight for some money as well. So look, for me, Mayweather's fighting Logan, all these funny YouTuber guys. It's not the biggest, it's not the best thing in the world, but let the guy get his money and let him do what he's doing. I don't know your thoughts on that, bro.
No, exactly the same thing. Look, end of the day, everyone talks about how it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the sport. No, it's not. It brings so much more attention because if you're looking at a fake fight, you're going to research into all these other fighters. You're going to look at it. You're going to follow all the pages. It's good for the whole market. The casual influencers getting involved in boxing. Like, it's like having fight. People might sound crazy for this, but it's like having influencers ringside at boxing and people who aren't just these same old people coming there and bringing attention to the sport. Why are you complaining? People are bringing the casuals that will put more money in your pocket because they're going to buy your merchandise, they're going to follow you more, and they're going to build up. You know, I just think Logan Paul, or is it Jake Paul? Congrats, great money for them, great check. But ultimately, you know how Mayweather's going to bring and promote the sport of boxing. You know, the sport of boxing.
It's going to be mad. I ain't going to, because the worst thing is people are going to buy into it because the size difference is going to be nuts. But you're going to see, just like this, you don't play boxing, bro. So on that note, bro, I got some jollof rice and wache waiting for me. Next time you guys see me, I'm probably going to have some banku and tilapia. If you don't know what that is, go and Google it. That's the kind of food that gives Boatsi, Denzel Bentley, their pure power. And Richard Comey. Don't forget those guys, man.
Don't forget about latte. Wait, you forgot latte, bro?
Latte as well, bro. That's trying to throw shade at me. Yeah, okay. I just listen, safe journey, and don't forget, guys. As always, Raps on TV. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. For the next month, myself, I'm in Ghana. Sam is going to be in Nigeria, so Sam, safe travels to Nigeria, and we're going to try and do as much regular content during this Christmas period as we can. So, guys, please keep subscribing, supporting, and liking and sharing the pages.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
Take it easy, bro. Peace.
Let's get